how did you manage this? Like अगर कोई किसी को बोले कि यार काई ग्रीन पाकिस्तान आएगा एक दिन, वो ये कहेंगे कि नहीं ये तो नहीं हो सकता.
We spoke about Phil Heath.
Yeah.
He's like, when's your next show? I can teach you everything there is to know within 15 minutes. It's going to cost you 100,000. It's like 100,000 for 15 minutes. Are you crazy? He's like, okay, do it on your own. I took him on his offer, and that 100,000 was worth every single penny. Learn to sell. I don't care if you got gold in your pocket. If you can't sell it, it's not even worth paperweight.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to episode number 26 of the NSJD show, Pakistan's first fitness and self-improvement podcast. Aaj hamare guest hai, he is a difficult man to catch because he is flying all over the world doing all sorts of things. Hum sari abhi baat karenge. He is a philanthropist, he is an investor in a multitude of fields and industries, and for our interest, he held the first pro card show, bodybuilding show in Pakistan as well as in some other regions, and we'll get all into that. आप लोगों को पता है मैं किसकी बात कर रहा हूँ, and I'm talking about Mr. Arif Mirza. Sir, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling? How's everything going?
Feel great. I'm in my homeland. I mean, how much better could I feel? आपने सुना भी होगा, I got the title from the show, पाकिस्तान का बेटा. तो पाकिस्तान का बेटा तो वही करेगा जो उसको करना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. So the first time I heard about you was when Kai Greene was coming to Pakistan. That was 2018, I think.
2017.
2017. Okay. Yeah, that's the first time I heard. And when someone told me that, you know, Kai Greene is coming, yeah, maybe I saw a post. तो मैंने कहा ये क्या fake post है? ऐसे तो नहीं हो सकता. So and then I saw it more and more, and I thought, अच्छा ये तो कुछ असल scene लग रहा है. This looks legit.
ऐसा ही है.
Yeah, and then finally when it happened, चलो उसकी बाद में बात करते हैं. बट माई फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज हाउ डिड यू मैनेज दिस? लाइक अगर कोई किसी को बोले कि यार काई ग्रीन पाकिस्तान आएगा एक दिन, वो ये कहेंगे कि नहीं ये तो नहीं हो सकता.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मेरे ख्याल में मोस्ट व्यूअर्स जो ये शो देख रहे हैं, पॉडकास्ट देख रहे हैं, उनको ये नहीं पता कि काई ग्रीन को मैं लेके आया हूँ.
अच्छा.
बहुत सारे लोग समझते हैं कि कोई XYZ उनको लेके, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोगों ने क्लेम किया था ना, यार मैं लेके आया हूँ. और हु केयर्स, पाकिस्तान में काई ग्रीन आया था, तो हमारा मकसद यही था कि हम उसको लेके आएँ. और पहले तो उसको लोगों ने बहुत डराया था कि यार डोंट गो टू पाकिस्तान, पाकिस्तान इज़ नॉट सेफ. लेकिन एवरीथिंग हैज़ अ प्राइस. सो इफ पीपल डोंट लिसन टू व्हाट यू हैव टू से, यू जस्ट पुट अ राइट प्राइस टू द राइट नंबर टू दैट पर्सन एंड दे विल बी लाइक ओके लेट्स गो. लेकिन जब काई ग्रीन यहाँ पे आया और उसने जब देखा, ही वाज लाइक वाओ, आई दिस इज समथिंग आई नेवर इमेजिन्ड. Because our neighbor country, mashallah, they were saying, don't go there, they're terrorists. And then same thing in America, they were telling him, don't go there, they're terrorists. He's like, no, he's a good friend of mine. I trust him. And we're going to go to Pakistan. And next thing you know, we're here. We were supposed to go straight to Lahore, but I said, you know what? I live in Islamabad. Let's go to Islamabad for a day, and then we'll go to Lahore and do an expo there. He came here. I wanted to show the beauty of Islamabad. And that's what he saw. He's like, wow, I never imagined Pakistan looks like this. Nice and clean, big roads, big houses, everything that it was the opposite. When people met with him, he's like, people gave me so much love. And that's what they want. We're all hungry for love, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're hungry for.
Yeah. But so when he came to Islamabad, there was like Jack Nutrition के साथ वहाँ पे उनके gym में he came. That's where I came to Islamabad.
So no, we actually went to Islamabad Club. Okay, so that's where we had our first meet and greet.
Right.
And Abbas is a very good friend of mine. Actually, more like a little brother to me. Mm-hmm. Very very good guy, very smart guy. And he had asked me, "Can we go to my gym?" I said, absolutely. What does a brother do for another? Right. So when we asked security, "Can we go to that area?" And they said no, because we have not swept that area, so we can't be responsible for anything. I said, the hell with it. We're going to go. And we went, and I think that was a very, very good decision, because the trainers there, they became security. The people there, they became security. And everybody saw that how much love Pakistan had to offer him. So we went, we had a good time, and we enjoyed. And then that same night we flew out to Lahore.
Right. But I personally enjoyed when Kai Greene came. I brought my weightlifting belt के ना मैं sign करवाऊंगा from
अच्छा
Kai
अच्छा
Greene. तो सबसे पहले वो आया and I think एक question and answer session start हो गया था.
right
उसमें भी the first question that came was
very stupid
that आपकी body steroid से बनती है and he went off into a like a philosophical like thing that he does. उसमें लंबी बात चलेगी थी but चले वो ठीक है वो साइड पे but उसके बाद like people were very very excited उनको कंट्रोल ही नहीं किया जा रहा था इवेंचुअली हम उठा के Kai Greene को जल्दी ले गए थे और मैं वेट करता रह गया था कि ना मेरा साइन नहीं हुआ.
ये ऐसी चीज़ें होती हैं अगर आप शायद आपको पता नहीं था ना किसी को पता नहीं था कि आने वाला कोई मान ही नहीं रहा था ना
हाँ
जब तक उसने वीडियो नहीं लगाई थी कि आई एम गोइंग टू पाकिस्तान विद आरिफ मिर्जा कोई मान ही नहीं रहा था जब फ्लाइट से लैंड किया उसने उस वक्त ये पुराना एयरपोर्ट था पिंडी वाला तो वहाँ भी लोग जमा हो गए यार ये क्या हो गया कैसे हो गया when he came out मुझे देखा आके he gave me a big hug he's like I'm in your home let's do this तो लोग तो वहीं पे जमा हो गए थे then it got to the media कि जाओ और ये जिस ब्ला की बात कर रहे हैं वो आ चुका है लेकिन हम 1 घंटा पहले जैक के पास पहुंच गए थे if he had known and notified us of course तो साइन autograph लेके देना कौन सी बड़ी बात है there were so many companies saying please give us a shout out and that's what I did anybody that asked we gave them a shout out
सही so why did you choose Kai Greene in particular out of all the bodybuilders?
Number one, I think he's the most knowledgeable bodybuilder in the world at the moment. Two, what was done to him was unfair. And at the same time, what was done to him made him the man he is now. He makes a lot more money doing side shows than competing in bodybuilding. And when I first saw him, I'm like, who's this guy? The guy from Mortal Kombat, But when I actually met him, super intelligent guy, super intelligent guy, down to earth. He'll give you one-on-one time. And I wanted to bring the best of the best at that time. That's why I brought Kai Greene. And I think that was the best decision. It was between Kai and Jay Cutler, because Jay Cutler is also one of my favorite bodybuilders and a very, very smart businessman. These both guys are very, very smart. But I think we did the right choice by going with Kai.
So what are you talking about when you say Kai Greene, it was unfair? Like the Olympia 20?
Yeah, they didn't let him compete in one of the years because of certain politics.
Oh, okay.
And 2014, we all know he won that show. No disrespect to Phil. Phil's a 7-time champion, or is it 8-time champion?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And then, as soon as I became a fan of Kai is a people's champion. That's what people know him as, people's champion. And that's what we wanted to bring, not just a champion, but people's champion. He goes anywhere in the world. When you go to expos, who has the biggest lineup? He does. Right? So when I see him in Dubai, he's got the biggest lineup. When I see him in UK, he's got the biggest lineup. When he goes to India, biggest lineup. When he goes to South Africa, biggest lineup. FIBO, same thing, biggest lineup. So we want to give the best to our country, right? So
the 2014 was the one in which Phil had a bubble gut. That was the one.
No.
Which one was that?
2014. Phil had a bubble gut a lot longer. Phil was in very good shape also. They were both in good shape.
Yeah.
But Kai had a better physique. And if you look at the comments, most of the world will agree with you. But they're tremendous athletes. I mean, just within few minutes, their bodies can change. One can look better than the other within the few minutes, depending on how they're holding on to their conditioning.
Right.
Like things change overnight. It's not an easy sport. I mean, you're in it. We're in it. It's not an easy sport. It is the most disciplined sport in the world. Everything is counted. Your calories are counted. Your reps are counted. Your sleep is counted. Every single thing is measured.
It's a 24/7 sport.
It's a 24/7 sport.
It doesn't stop.
You forget everything. You forget everything. Like when these guys are in prep and you think they're being rude to you, they're not talking to you, don't take it to the heart. They are focused, right? It's nothing else matters. When they get on that stage, absolutely nothing else matters. They're willing to die. And that's what some of them do.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about the recent deaths that have taken place since 2021?
Actually, when you brought up this question, I would like to say one of our own died yesterday. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Habib Rahman. He's from Faisalabad.
Acha,
He passed away yesterday. And I'm sure a lot of people blame the death on so many different things. Look, when your time is up, your time is up. There's absolutely nothing you can do. Yes, these guys do test their limits. They push their limits. And this is where if a person doesn't have enough knowledge, you'll spend a lot of time in the hospital, right? But death can only come when it's time. It cannot come before and it cannot come after. So if you're abusing your body, we can give so many examples of so many athletes at the moment who are abusing their bodies. They'll have other physical problems, but they won't die because of that reason, right? If as Muslims, at least that's what we believe, that you cannot die unless you commit suicide. You cannot die before it's your time. So when somebody passes away, there's a lot of nonsense that people talk about. Yaar, wo apni body abuse kar raha tha, ye kar raha tha, wo kar raha tha, steroid le raha tha. Look, hospitals are filled with doctors who give steroids to patients because they know how. They know what to give to the right amount to the right patient. But when you have everyday trainer who watched a few videos off YouTube and he starts injecting people, that's where problems start. That's where kidneys fail. That's where heart attacks happen. That's where, so many other problems end up happening. So I think that's the main issue.
But like people outside of Pakistan, unke to the ones who have died recently, they're like, they have proper doctors, nutritionists and everything, but still, and I'm not saying that it's only because of steroids and death ho rahi hai. It's because of everything. They're pushing their body so much.
Well, see, it's not just the supplements or steroids that are causing them to be where they are. It's the lifestyle of that person, right? If I show you a bottle, if I give you let's say Panadol or Tylenol, and it tells you take 2 every 4 hours, and you're taking 4 every 2 hours, it's poison for you, right? It's not going to work. And especially when it says, don't take it with alcohol. And what are these guys are doing? They're partying, right? So when you mix that, of course, it's going to cause problems. If the doctor tells you take this with water, not even with milk, and you take it with alcohol, you're just being,
You're just abusing.
Exactly. You're abusing it. I mean, look, everybody says bodybuilding is natural sport. Okay, I'll be the first one to admit it is not.
Natural sport counts.
Like without enhancement, without steroids, people are competing. It is not.
Of course. Yeah.
The reason why people don't get caught, because there's so much stuff in the market that it's like when you go get an oil change for your car, they can do that. They can, bring all the stuff out of your body. Plus, they can get someone else to do your test for you. I mean, look, we're sitting in Pakistan. If I need a driver's license, I can pay somebody to go get me a driver's license.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the same industry. Anybody that tells you that they're competing naturally, they're full of crap.
Of course. And these federations, they want these big guys because the fans like it, right?
Yeah. So once you turn pro, you're allowed to use steroids. Right.
Achha.
So you're openly, because if you look at any athlete on YouTube, they'll tell you their stack. Look, I'm getting ready for the show. This is what I'm taking. How much amount, when, where, everything. They'll lay it all out for you.
Right, but I thought even when you turn pro, it's माना ये जाता है ना कि अच्छा now this person is pro, now he's on a cycle or ये वो, but I thought it's still kept under wraps कि मतलब बात नहीं की जाती इस बारे में.
No, I don't care who's watching this. I don't care what judge says. We test this, we test that. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Every single athlete on stage is on juice.
No, what I'm saying is that they are, but मेरा ख्याल था कि even after they turn pro, let's say they're competing in Olympia and someone asks, do you take roids? They have to not answer that question.
They can choose not to. But these days, like a lot of people used to say, I'm natural.
Okay?
But now they don't say I'm natural. They openly admit, no, I'm not natural. Because when you say I'm natural, they'll say bullshit. You're lying. And then, I mean, you can get mad, but people know, right? The other guy is as big as you. He knows exactly. He's been trained by the same coach as you. He knows what you're doing, right? Yeah. So when people admit now saying, no, I'm not natural, they actually get respected. Like, for example, Rich Piana. Rich Piana was a monster. Very good guy. Known him for since 2015. We had a good chat. He was at my first show in Dubai. He started taking steroids at, I think, age 11.
Oh.
Right? And he knew that this is what's going to happen. And openly, he would say, I'm taking this, I'm taking that. And people respected him for it. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he's an honest guy. He's admitting while others don't admit.
Yeah.
So when you tell somebody the truth, what else can they say? They can't say, oh, you taking steroids? I guess I already said that. Right? So what other question can they ask you? They can't.
Yeah.
Right?
I think yehi dar tha between pro athletes that, they used to think, if we're too honest, we lose our fan following, we lose our supplement brands who are sponsoring us. So in the end, let's just avoid the question. And then when people like Rich Piana, they started saying it, they actually gain more respect.
Absolutely.
People are like, wow, itna sacha aadmi.
Yeah.
So, and he is showing us exactly what goes on behind the scenes. Matlab, jitna wo kar sakta hai.
Well, he actually ate like an animal too.
Yeah,
he ate 12 meals a day.
Yeah.
Right? And he trained like an animal. His whole life was fitness. That's all he did. And he was a good businessman. He was a huge guy, but he wasn't like somebody that's going to push you around. He's going to beat you up. Very down to, somebody you call gentle giant. That's what he was. And his lineups were crazy. When you go to an expo and it's like 45 minutes or more, his lineups are like that. There's only few athletes who can actually draw a crowd like that. So that's why I brought him to Dubai also. I would have brought him here also, but wasn't meant to be.
Sahi.
Right.
So if you step back a bit, ye to baat hogi why and how you brought Kai Greene, but how did you get into this scene of investing in bodybuilding and bodybuilding in Pakistan? Ye aapka shauq or passion, ye kahan se aaya? And how long have you generally been an investor in other fields? Or when did you step into bodybuilding?
Look, I've been in business since, I would say, 2001, 2002.
Right.
Before I was working. I was working like 3 jobs, 4 jobs. And as many jobs as I can get, I was working. But when I got into business, life just changed. And you can have the best job in the world. You're only going to get that set amount of salary. 1,000, 100,000, million, whatever, a year. That's all you're going to make. You're going to put in either 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week. You're only going to make what that salary is. But when you go into your own business, yes, you're going to work a lot harder, right? And you're going to fail many times. You're going to fail every time you launch something. You're going to fail. You're going to learn from that. But there's no ceiling. There's absolutely no ceiling. You can go as high as you want. So my first business that I got into was an auction company. And I competed with eBay. Okay, eBay is one of the biggest auction companies in the world. Okay, the amount of fraud that happens on eBay is bigger than most of the companies in the world. Okay, that's how much clients they had. So I competed with the biggest guy out there, and I did damn well. I did really, really well. A kid with no experience, no money. I bootstrapped everything. I just used my brain for marketing. Learned everything as we went along. I worked with mentors. I always work with mentors. I work with people who are better than me, who can teach me something. If you think you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room, right?
Yeah.
So you always have to learn. I mean, look at any athlete, any businessman. They have coaches. They go to masterminds. They're always educating themselves further and further and further because everything is changing. Like if I give you an example of just our deen, we pray 5 times a day, we keep Roza, we give zakat, and we read Quran, we think that's it. But if you actually go into it, it's not even a drop in the ocean. It's so deep. And same with business. Just because you made some money from one of the businesses doesn't mean you know it all. You just have to keep improving yourself, I always work with coaches. And that's who I am now. I'm a coach. I coach people.
Business coach.
Business coach. I coach people. And when I used to do coaching for like very little amount, it wasn't worth that much. Like my advice was not worth that much. Just like my advice is not worth anything at home. But when it comes to my business community, if I say that black is pink, guess what? They believe that black is pink, right? Because they're like, he knows what he's talking about. And I can show them, peel off that black layer, underneath it's pink. So when I started raising my fees, it just became even better. If I was charging 1,000 an hour, now I charge 5,000, then 25,000, 100,000 a weekend. The more I started charging, the more clients I started getting, and bigger and bigger and bigger clients. It's just human psychology.
Right.
People want the most expensive stuff. and they want that information fast. The reason how I got this is I wanted information about certain project, and I called that person. I said, listen, I need some information. He's like, listen, I can teach you everything there is to know within 15 minutes. It's going to cost you 100,000. It's like 100,000 for 15 minutes. Are you crazy? He's like, okay, do it on your own. I took him on his offer, and that 100,000 was worth every single penny.
Really? 15 minutes?
15 minutes. Because obviously I made a lot more.
Yeah.
Right? It's information that's important. If you have the right information about certain things, I mean, what more can you want? You know, it's in the future, it's not gold and diamonds, it's data. Right? If you have the right data, you're making money.
So from here to investing in bodybuilding, how did this start?
So bodybuilding is just a passion, right? So I was shooting a film called How to Make $1 Million in 30 Days, because I wanted to teach people business on how can you make million is a number that attracts everybody, right? I could have said make 10,000, which a lot of trainers will tell you make 10,000 a month, but nothing like million. And people think million is a lot of money. It's actually not a lot of money. Million, let's say, for example, I live in UK. $1 million will get you maybe a decent home. Then what? You're broke, right? You can't afford a car anymore, right? I bought a house. Now what do? I can't afford a car.
Yeah.
So million is
keep that going.
It's not a lot of money, right? It's if we look at $1 or if we look at $1 million, the important thing is how can you make that money grow, right? How can I make $2 from that $1? How can I make 10 million from that 1 million? Right? That's the important thing. And when it comes to business, forget everything. Just learn to sell. That's all you need to know. Learn to sell. I don't care if you got gold in your pocket. If you can't sell it, it's not even worth paperweight, right? So if you can sell, then everything is yours. The whole world is yours. You don't have to have your own product, right? When I teach people business, they're like, oh, should I start my own product? Should I do this? You know, just make this design, that design. I'm like, listen, everything in the world is for sale. Learn to sell. You know, you watch that movie, Wolf of the Wall Street.
Yeah.
Sell me that pen. And in reality, they don't show you how to sell that pen, right?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit how to sell that pen? I'll tell you, the biggest sales guys are like these guys, street vendors. Okay, they don't do any marketing. They sell what's in the season, and they make a sale every single day. They didn't go to school. They have no education, but they know that we have to sell. If we don't sell, we don't eat. Right? I call those people hunters. You eat what you kill. Right? Yeah. So it is very important that if you can pick up a book and read it, learn about sales. Everything there is to know about sales, learn. So let's say I got a bottle in my hand. I make a sale. I just make one sale. That's it. Whether I made it by luck or with my brain or whatever it was, I made that sale. What you want to do is you want to analyze that sale. You got to look at it from every single angle. How did that sale happen? Was it a fluke? Or did I have the right color? Did I have the right branding? Did I have the right attitude? Was I dressed properly? What was it that made that sale? Right? We have to like dissect that just single sale. Because if you can't duplicate that sale. Right? And if you figure out exactly what it was, how you made that sale, then you just gotta multiply. And once you learn, then what you want to do is you want to bring in the right person for the right job, because you're no longer required to make that sale anymore. You've done your work. Bring in the best of the best from that industry. Let them do it, but show them how you've done it. Yeah. And then you'll have his experience on top of it. It becomes that much better that now he can penetrate the market a lot faster.
Yeah, you can delegate. You can do something else then.
So because what you want to do is you want to free up as much time as possible. That's what I do is I have the largest family office syndicate in Middle East and Africa. I would say in the world, but the world is too big, man. There might be some people I've never heard of. Just like mine is private. I'm sure there's a lot of private syndicates out there. So how it starts, what can you do for people? That's all it takes. If you can deliver, and your word should be everything. if you promise something, you must deliver. Even if you take a loss, deliver. Because once people lose confidence in you, it's very hard to gain it back. But let's just say you've tried to start a business, you failed like 10 times. You made so many mistakes that people talk about you all the time. Well, he's a crook, he's done this, whatever. They don't know how you failed. Doesn't matter. Don't let it get to your head, because it's the last thing people remember. Let's say you were a failure 10 times. The 11th time you started and you're a success, those 10 times have gone to the garbage. They're like, wow, he's somebody now. Mm-hmm. So just always keep your focus.
Yeah. So you have this background in doing multiple businesses in multiple regions, mashallah. And investing in bodybuilding in Pakistan, we were just talking about this offline.
Sure.
That how's that going for you, and why are you constantly doing that? What's your vision for that?
First of all, because I'm Pakistani, it doesn't matter where I go, I'm always going to be Pakistani. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do something for my motherland. So when I did the show in Dubai, 2016, it was a huge success. Not only did I make a name, I made tons of money from that show.
Which show was that?
2016 Fitness Expo Dubai.
Okay.
Your Hadi Chupan got his pro card from there. There was only 2 pro cards at that time. It used to be 1 pro card. I was the first one to give 2 pro cards and $500,000 prize money. I had over 450 athletes. We got tired on the weigh-in day that we had shut it down. That said, no more. We can't take in no more athletes.
Oh, okay.
So it was a huge success, but I learned a lot. I learned so much from that show. I took a massive beating on things I didn't know. Right. And 3 days later, I was in Pakistan. I'm like, I want to do it in Pakistan. I don't care about anything else. I want to bring it to Pakistan. Because there's no pro card holder in Pakistan. Well, there is now.
At that time,
there was none.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, let me try and do that. So I was talking in one of these bodybuilding groups, and somebody said, we won't see a pro show or a pro card for the next 25 years. I said, if God willing, you'll see it within a year or 2. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. 2017, we tested the market, and with even all the problems that we have with the federations and stuff, still it was beyond what I expected. I thought, that's it, nobody's going to show up. But it was good. It was really, really, really good. And then when I partnered up with Big Man in Spain, so that's it. I'm taking Olympia to Pakistan. So I reached out to Dan Solomon, CEO of Olympia, and we became friends. And he obviously knows what I'm about. Bodybuilding is not what I do. And then when I said, look, I want to bring Olympia to Pakistan, he was like, are you sure? You're not going to make any money from it, but are you sure you want to do this? I said, yes, absolutely. I want to do it for my people. And that's what we did. We brought Olympia. And again, just like when we brought Kai Greene, nobody believed it. They're like, no, there's no way Kai Greene's coming. And when we brought Olympia, it was the same thing. Even until the day of the event, people couldn't believe it. And then all the people that were telling them, don't believe this guy, he's a liar, he's just going to take your money and run away. What money? What are you going to pay? Less than 1,000 rupees for a ticket?
Yeah, something like that.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm putting in 22 crore for a show. I'm going to make, 10 grand from you guys? Yeah. Right? So anything, nonsense, whatever. So when the show happened, all those people that were being told that the show was not going to happen, they started cussing them out. They're like, you said this to us, and we could have competed in this, and we could have done so much more. We could have stood with this guy, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Doesn't matter. Who cares? It's not late. Not too late. We're going to do it again. Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep doing it. So as soon as we find out that, look, what the political situation is in Pakistan, that's one of the other reasons I'm here. As soon as Pakistan is stable, because our athletes come from abroad. Even in Olympia, most of our athletes came from abroad.
Yeah.
Even the Pakistani athletes that competed, they came from abroad.
Oh, okay.
Right? Only a handful of guys competed from Pakistan itself.
Right. I remember there were a lot of international athletes. Yeah. Majority were from not in Pakistan.
90% were from outside.
Yeah.
From here, we had Ijaz Khan. MashaAllah, mm-hmm. I don't think he's looked any better than he did at this show. It was probably his best prep. Mm-hmm. Irfan Asghar, overall winner. That's not a small title. That's a huge title.
And how many pro cards did you give in this show?
9 pro cards.
9 pro cards.
9 pro cards. It's not. It's not a joke, man. 9 pro cards. My plan was, and I can honestly tell you that there are guys here that would have taken at least 4 or 5 pro cards. Easily, hands down, 4 or 5 pro cards. Like, I don't want to name anybody, but from the guys that I know, there's a lot of guys, a lot of athletes I don't know of, because their federations won't even let them talk to me. They would easily won a pro card. They are that good, but they're being robbed. They're being robbed of their future. They're being robbed of what they deserve. But soon that's going to stop, because now the same athletes are saying, sir, please, ek dafar karein, please. And I'll do it. I don't care even if one athlete shows up. I'm going to do it because I'm doing it for Pakistan.
Right. And robbed by whom? Like
robbed by the federations who didn't let them compete.
Right.
Because what they work for different departments like Army, Railway, WABDA and stuff. So they tell them, if you compete, your job is gone.
Why?
Ask them why. Because then they lose control over them.
If they compete, if they get a pro card, and then they they have to go outside of Pakistan, things like that.
They lose control over them.
Oh, okay.
If you think they competed in the pro show, are they going to compete in a small show anymore?
Like it's Mr. Islamabad,
they
Punjab.
Mr. Islamabad will not matter.
Yeah.
Which still it's a great title. I think one of the other things that should be changed is there should be only one Mr. Pakistan, right? There's so many Mr. Pakistan. There's so many Mr. Pindi, so many Mr. Islamabad, so many federations.
Yeah.
So it should be one. I think if everybody worked together, I guarantee you, I can tell them, listen, if it's all about money, I guarantee you they will make a lot more money, and bodybuilding will be a lot safer than it is right now. It would be a lot safer if we had proper guidelines. We would stop losing a lot of people, right? Not as in death-wise, but everything else that happens to them, right? A lot of people end up having so many problems. And bodybuilding is, like we mentioned earlier, is not an easy sport. And I'll say it right now, it's not a sport of people who have money. Okay, the guys who were born with silver spoon, they can't work hard like the guys who have the passion. But maybe I shouldn't say that. It's whoever has, how you say in Pakistan, whoever has janoon for that sport, they can make it happen.
Yeah.
There's absolutely so many great athletes here that I think if they started going abroad, they would make huge waves. I know if I was to say this is really big, but I know we can send somebody to Olympia easily. That was the plan, that after 2-3 years, we would have one of our guys on the stage in Olympia. My plan last year was the winner from here will go and compete in our show in Spain. And then from there, same year, they will compete on the Olympia stage. But again, people are, no, yaar, ye jhoot bol raha hai, ye ho hi nahi sakta. Yaar, 2 dafa jhoot bol gaya, 2 dafa kar gaya, right? Twice I've done it, right? So
that's the main thing holding them back.
That's trust. That's the only thing.
Trust issues.
That's the only thing. People know, the athletes know, but they have no choice because they're bound by their jobs. Right. If they go ahead and do what I'm telling them to do, they'll get fired.
Oh.
They won't get fired. It's just people telling them that they're going to get fired. Who the hell are these guys to fire them? Right? These guys, they don't work for WABDA. They don't work for Army. These are side people who have just created their own federations. Right?
Right.
But because they have contacts within those departments, they're able to threaten them.
So you believe that our top athletes, they can qualify for the Olympia? You have to get some certain number of points, win some shows. You think they have what it takes?
Absolutely.
Right.
Look, one of our biggest athletes, even right now, he's 55, 56, Masum Butt.
Yeah.
He just competed in Olympia.
He does,
for obviously Masters Olympia. Just getting on that stage was enough. Who cares if he wins or not? For us, he won.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
For Pakistan, that's definitely a win-win situation.
I think he's the only one who has gone to Olympia, right?
From seniors, yes, he's the only one that's gone to Masters Olympia, and there's a couple of pro card holders now, but only Irfan Asghar from Pakistan. There's what's this guy? Ali from Australia. He's from.
Oh yeah. The physique guy.
Yeah. So
physique.
he's got his pro card there. Then we have the biggest Pakistani in the world is Zak Khan. Zak Khan is a flipping monster. Yeah. He's huge. He's had his pro card for a very, very long time.
Right.
A great guy. A lot of people don't think so. I think he's a great guy. Mm-hmm. He was the first athlete I brought to my show in Dubai. From all the athletes in the world that I brought 96 athletes in total. Rich Piana, Kai Greene, I mean, you name it, Big Ramy. The who's of who came to my show. But the first person that I contacted was my own Pakistani. So let me promote my own people. So it's always been promoting my own people.
How did you get at this stage that when you contact a bodybuilder and you say that, this show that's happening, would you like to come? They're like, yeah, sure. How did you get to this stage?
It's very simple. I'm sure you heard, jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai. Right?
Okay.
So when you have somebody who lives in the Burj Khalifa, who has every car you can imagine, you can see me in a Bugatti, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Rolls Royce, you name it, I'm in it, right? I could be spotted around the world. They know that this guy's got at least a few bucks in his pocket, right? So when I would contact an athlete, I wouldn't ask him, how much do you charge? I would say, listen, I want you on my show. And whatever number that came out of their mouth, so no problem. You're getting on that flight. And when they would land, I would put them in the nicest hotel. I would put them in a Ferrari or Lamborghini. Trust me, next time when I call them, I'm no longer just simple person. I'm a bro. Hey, bro, do you need me at your next show?
Right.
So that's how you got to do it. When you get into business, you got to get into business properly. People, what they do is, let's say I want to bring some athlete to Pakistan. They say, how much do you charge? Let's say there's 10 grand a day. You say, thodi kam kar sakte hain. So what that athlete thinks is, if he's bargaining on my price right now, what can I expect when I go to Pakistan? Can he give me a business class flight? And can he put me in a proper hotel? Can he give me proper security? Can he show me what I need to see? So that's why they say, you know what, I'm busy. I'm going to another show.
Right.
And it might be that you only have 10 grand and you're trying to save. So get an athlete that is worth a little bit less, right? Get the proper person for the right job. Right. So that's why when I brought Kai here, I didn't care what he was going to charge. Yeah. I knew if he says, listen, I charge more, okay, no problem. I'm going to double it.
Right.
Whatever other offer he has, I'm sure he's not going to get double that offer.
So in business, and this is a totally different question, just came to my mind, that in business, you're saying that in this circumstance, in this situation, if you bargain, you're actually losing the upper hand, or you're losing the business there.
So
but when is a good time to bargain?
Look, it's a lot of people tell you it's you pay what you negotiate, right? So there are times when you definitely should negotiate, but there are times where it's not what you have, it's not what you paid, it's what you can make or what you can do with it, right? You have a studio here. If you're not utilizing it, it's just sitting there. Somebody with a dream, who has a plan, who just doesn't have that studio, can do so much with it, right? Somebody who has money, he just creates a studio and he says, you know what, I don't have time for it. It's just a hobby. I do it today, I do it tomorrow, right? So he doesn't need to bargain anymore. But somebody who really, really needs that, he might want to bargain. Right. He's like, let's find a way, because if I can have that, I can do this. Right? So I was taught a long time ago from one of my coaches is, it's not what you have, it's what you do with it. Right? So give you an example, iPhone. Every kid, every person in the world wants the latest iPhone. Right? What are they going to do with it? Can they do something different with the year before, the model before, or the one before? Or does it work the same way?
Probably not, yeah.
Works the same way.
They just want to take pictures, use
social
media.
Social media, it's not about that. It's about, look what I'm carrying.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I have an iPhone from 2017. When I go to meetings, people put their phones on the table. I put my phone on the table. I've dropped it so many times. It's cracked. It's everything. People are like, what? Either he's super cheap or he just doesn't care. The thing is, my phone works perfectly. Right? I don't need to show off to somebody, look what I have. Right? So I'm content with what I have. People already know what I have. So the more I show simplicity, they're like, kitna simple sa banda hai.
Right.
I'll give you another example. If I clean my hands with my shirt, like, kitna sada sa banda. If somebody who's not at the same status who does this, they're like, kitna ganda banda hai yaar, dekho kapde se haath saaf kar. So it's the look. Like if I wear something fake, but people know that I can afford real, they're like, asli hai. Somebody who can't afford it and he's wearing real stuff, he borrowed money, whatever he's done, they're like, nakli hai ya chori ka maal hai. Right? Forget about what people think.
Right.
So,
but at the same time, like, so you mentioned that you drive Bugattis and Ferraris. So फिर उसमें why don't you have a simpler car?
I do have a simpler car.
But which one do you drive the most?
My favorite car in Dubai, I still have it because I brought my son home in that, is a Mercedes 450 GL.
Acha, so
Okay. So it's an older car. It's 2007. I still have it. My wife's like, why don't you give it away? I said, absolutely not. I'll give away any other car, but not that one because my son came home in that car. Sentimental value.
Yeah.
Right? My home in the home that I was born in, my village, I get offers for that. Like, you guys are never here. Why don't you sell it? Absolutely not. Because
you were born there.
I was born there. Right? That's sentimental value for me. Everything else is traded up. Right? So everything is for sale. It's just selling it at the right time.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe my son will end up selling it because he won't have the same value, or maybe his son will end up selling it. So when I moved to UK, when I first got there, I bought a nice and very nice car, Porsche Cayenne. 3 days later, it got stolen. And I bought another car. I bought a Land Rover. It got stolen.
UK.
UK. The cars go like daily.
Acha.
Daily. And then my neighbor told me, listen, what are you doing? You live a simple life here. This is not Dubai. If they don't steal your car, they'll scratch your car. Right? So I started driving normal cars, just like everybody else.
Which region was this in the UK?
London.
London. Oh.
It's because it's so popular, right? 13 million people in London. So it doesn't matter where you are. Land Rover is the most stolen vehicle in London.
Acha.
Land Rover is. There's every few seconds it's gone.
Right. Interesting. So what I understand is that you first built yourself into this position that now when you contact bodybuilders, they see you, they see yaar, kuch to scene hai. Kuch to hai.
I get contacted every once in a while when you're doing the next show.
Right.
Like if I show you, we spoke about Phil Heath.
Yeah.
He's like, when's your next show? He contacted me on LinkedIn. He's like, Arif, when's your next show?
Oh, so.
Like you got people like that saying, when's your next show? Trust me, I think you're doing something right.
Yeah.
One person I would love to bring here again, and I think next show that's who we'll bring, is Big Ramy. A great guy, very, very, very decent guy. But again, I do what people want. So when we announce the show, I'm going to get feedback from people. Who do you want to see? Because I might choose one athlete and they say, you know what, we want to see somebody else. Like I brought Rolly Winkler to my last show because Rolly's been to every single one of my shows. He's a great guy, supports me every time I go. Like if we're on right now, if I message him, he'll reply. I was like, hey bro, what's up? You know, what do you want to do? Great guy. So when people are good to you, you got to be good to them. And he's massive, right? Very down to earth. Tom Coleman, same thing. He supported me on every single show. So when I do a show, I always bring him.
Right. I remember you had like a poll that the audience chose that which bodybuilder, and they chose Rolly Winkler.
Yeah, they chose Rolly.
I thought they chose Big Ramy though.
Big Ramy was our first option to come, but Big Ramy was having issues with the diet, and because it's close to the show.
Oh, okay.
You need to, you have to choose your dates very, very carefully. Rolly was not competing. So he can come. He was not on prep. Any athlete that's on prep for Olympia, he will not risk for any other show. I don't care if I'm paying him a lot more. He's like, no, I want to get it. I want to win the Olympia.
Yeah.
Because they only get that chance. They might never get that chance again, right? So they want to win the Olympia. But Olympia's getting like harder and harder every single year. So Rami did the right thing. He like I was talking to Dennis James, and one of the guys here was watching at the same time, and he was gonna let people know that, look, Rami's coming. And I told him, listen, please don't mention that Rami's coming yet, because he hasn't been confirmed. Because you can't announce an athlete if he hasn't been confirmed. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And then, people tell you, look, kya raha tha, ye aa raha hai, kisi aur ko le aaya hai. So until things are signed, and even till the last day, things can happen. Like, for example, Rolly didn't get his visa until 1 hour before his flight.
Oh.
So I was kind of stressed out, because if he didn't get on that flight, trust me, people were like, kitna jhoota aadmi hai. Kitna jhoota aadmi. Even though I had him on my Instagram saying, yes, I'm coming to Pakistan. People don't care.
Yeah.
Like, nahin, jhoota hai. So, but let's see. I think, inshallah, Pakistan has a very, very bright future. The only reason like I said, we haven't done a show last year or haven't announced it this year is because the political situation. Country's going through some challenges. Like every country goes through their challenges. I don't blame anyone. If somebody politically asks me, who do you support? I support nobody. I support and I pray that we get the right leader for the right job. That's it. Yeah. Nobody's my favorite. Nobody's my uncle or cousin. And I think we should look at a politician as a CEO of the country who can look at the country as a business and make it grow. Right? Make sure that the whole country is stable, the economy is stable, everything is stable. We don't care what he looks like.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So in terms of, like, we had the amateur Olympia, you saw the level of competition. So Pakistani log ka level tha, international log ka level tha, competing for the first time here. Where do you think that we are lacking to get to the next level? I know, like you mentioned, कि कुछ लोग हैं टॉप के जो ओलंपिया लेवल तक जा सकते हैं. But in general, अगर हमने एवरेज की बार को थोड़ा रेस करना है कि एवरेज बॉडी बिल्डर थोड़ा सा ऊपर हो जाए, what were the areas where we're lacking? A lot of people say, हम पाकिस्तानी, हमारे genetics नहीं अच्छे, गोरे को genetics बड़े अच्छे हैं, कोई सीन नहीं है. So what do you think? Where's something that we're lacking?
Have you been to many bodybuilding shows here?
No. Just your show, maybe one show here and there is bas.
So let's forget all the international athletes.
All right.
The Pakistani athletes alone, I think they were at their best conditioning from any other shows that they competed in. Mm-hmm. I've never seen Pakistani athletes look this good, because I've looked at many shows, right? Where we're lacking is one of the things we're lacking at is stage exposure, because when you get on the stage, if you can't showcase what you have properly, you can't get the points that you need, right? If you can't showcase, so let's say I'm trying to sell a car and I can't show the features of that car or any product, client is not going to buy it. So when the judges are sitting there, they are looking at certain symmetry of that athlete. They all have it, but they're not able to showcase it properly. So posing was one of the biggest things I think it was being lacked from our guys. At the same time, prep, not having the proper coaches. They or a lot of guys don't have the funding to get the proper coaches. But what happens is sometimes where they try to save, they end up paying more. So
in what sense?
So they'll say, look, I'm getting this for 500 rupees. I can't get it for 5,000. So the 500 rupees product that they bought, it was not worth it because it did nothing for them. They actually lost that money, right? So if they had paid 5,000, even if they had to board for somebody, that would have taken them to where they're going, right? So let's say I bought a shirt just for the sake of buying a shirt and it was only $5. You go like this, it rips, right? It's going to last me only one wear.
Yeah.
I'm only going to use it one time. If I put, let's say, 2,000, 3,000 into that rupees, it'll last me at least maybe 2 years, 3 years more until I grow out of it or something else happens. So lack of knowing what to buy is it's missing. Second is there are a lot of good coaches in Pakistan. People think there's no coaches in Pakistan. There are good coaches in Pakistan. Just people are advised not to take them. We listen to so many mouths, right? Yaar usne ye kaha tha, usne ye kaha tha. Learn from experience of others. Look at somebody who have they trained, right? Where have they taken that one athlete from point A to point B? Were they able to do so or not? Like for example, Masoom Butt, I think people should hire him because he's built that body. He's gone to competitions. He's won those competitions. Then you have good coaches here in Islamabad. Actually, you name the city, I can find you a coach because I know these guys are doing a great job. There's a lot of young coaches. There's a lot of old coaches that have the experience. Mostly a lot of young guys actually do have the knowledge who actually study this. And then there are guys that learn from one and then they start teaching others when they don't have experience, but they start teaching others. Those are the ones that you want to stay away from. A lot of YouTube coaches are not the right coaches. Having said that, there was a lot of guys that could have gone further, but because they had the wrong coach, they weren't able to do so.
Right. So it's posing, stage experience, posing, and having the right coach.
Having the right coach.
Investing in the right coach, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. And so for the people watching, maybe there are some aspiring bodybuilders watching, which I think that some people, they have the wrong idea about bodybuilding. Because what happens is that, let's say that you're an upcoming bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You prepare for a show, आपने वो cycle वगैरह किया, आपके उसमें 2-3 लाख लग गए, maybe ticket भी था, you went there, you lost, you didn't gain anything, right?
Yeah.
So they think that we can turn bodybuilding into just bodybuilding as our main source of income, but that's not what happens, right?
No.
It's not. The money you put in, you don't get it back.
Look, if there's 100 guys competing,
yeah,
they're not all going to get a pro card, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So it's just like any other sport. Track and field, for example, there's only one winner, right? Second place, third place, fourth place, eighth place, because there's 8 guys in a heat. Bodybuilding, same thing. But what ends up happening in bodybuilding is, when you mentioned it was a waste, I think if you look at a failure as knowledge, then it's not a waste. If you looked at failure as a failure, then it's a failure. What ends up happening, somebody shows up on a stage, they get like dead last. Okay? Nobody even noticed them. But they learned something from there. He knows his own mistakes, right? Very next show, he's like top 5. You know what I mean? Because he looked at, okay, what can I... Like I gave you an example of first sale. We need to dissect. We need to, find out what was it that made that first sale. Same thing here. When you go and compete, the more you compete, the more stage exposure you have. A lot of guys are shy. When they get on the stage, they have no idea what to do. Like I said, you can't show your package. You can't win. I don't care how well you look. There are some shows where you got 90-10. The guy doesn't even have to showcase and he wins because look at the conditioning, right? But most of the time, top 5, they're giving their absolute best. So how do you beat somebody is by showcasing your product.
Right.
So
let's say that, they invest all this time and money to the first show. सारे पैसे जो savings थी खत्म हो गई. Now they learned a lot, but अब next show के लिए उनके पास कुछ है नहीं.
मैं बताता हूँ अभी.
हाँ, उनके लिए फिर क्या? What do they do?
There's ways of doing it. You can try and find a sponsor. And people say in Pakistan there are no sponsors, right? I'm launching my brand right now. I'll sponsor. Okay. If you got what it takes, contact me. I'll sponsor you. Okay. Products, money, whatever. If I see something in you, and I can spot a right thing, I'll sponsor. Okay. So there's no such thing as saying there are no sponsors in Pakistan. Second is the guys who really, really want to compete. If let's say he's got one of those stalls, he's making 800 to 1,000 rupees a day. Trust me, he finds a way to pay a couple of lakhs for the prep. It's such a crazy sport. It doesn't make sense if you know what I mean.
Bilkul.
People will find the money to get ready and go. Like people go from here, they pay for the flight, they pay for the hotel, they pay for tanning. It ends up being a very, very expensive show, right? So, and they go. So are you telling me here, when I brought the show to Pakistan, they weren't able to afford it.
Obviously, they
Right?
were. वो तो कुछ और scene चल रहा था.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when somebody wants something bad enough, they find a way. And that's how life is. You want something. Look, people are like, how did you get to where you are? We all design our own lives. Okay. For example, you chose the school you went to. Like, okay, I'm gonna do my education in this school. Okay. You chose the dress that you wear. Like, oh, I'm gonna wear this blazer. I want to drive this car. I want to live in this area. I want to buy this house. All the decisions were made by you, right? And the universe around makes it happen. So if you didn't make those choices, it would have never happened. If you didn't put it in your mind, it would have never happened. And your mind doesn't let you say stuff if it can't happen. Okay.
Right.
So an entrepreneur, when they do something, they say, I'm the man. I've done it. It's not true. Okay. A Muslim entrepreneur and normal entrepreneur, there's a huge difference. It says, I gave my best and Allah has made it happen. Right? Because He wrote it for me. There's abundance of wealth is written for you. Okay? God has written it for you. But He says, go and find it. If you don't go and find it, He's still going to give you your food. Daily food He's still going to provide you. How many people you've seen on the street for the last 10, 15 years? Every day they're being fed. Allah
they're still alive.
Wada kiya na, कि I will feed you. But same people, if they go and find it, there's abundance of wealth for them.
So you're talking about manifestation, basically.
Manifestation.
You set a goal and you imagine it and you like picture it.
You picture it.
You say it and then the world will make it happen for you. You'll find a way.
The thing is, your mind, your subconscious mind registers everything, right? So it's not going to let you even think or say if it can't do it. I can give you an example. People can levitate. Okay, they can actually levitate, lift themselves off the ground. Most people will not. Well, yeah, most people will not believe it, right? Let me give you another example. I'm sure you've had this feeling at least once in your lifetime where you actually feel so good and you're like, you know what? If I had wings, I can fly. Because I've had those. I've had dreams even growing up as a child. In my dreams, I can just fly. That means there's so much within me that I haven't even touched that I can go so much further. You just have to make that right connection.
So basically, like we just mentioned, that it's like you laid out for yourself that this is what I want.
That's what I want. Yeah.
And you believe that I can get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you and I had, a very similar conversation with someone else. Pura podcast humne is pe baat ki thi about, manifesting things in your life. But that's very interesting. And often, people who are successful businessmen and, doing multiple things in life, they talk about these things. They talk about meditation. They talk about, how it's not just donkey work जो हम कर रहे हैं कि हम कोई को मैं बता रहा हम किए जा रहे हैं. It's like having that, just Arnold कहता है, having that vision in your mind.
Absolutely.
And then, figuring out what are the steps you need to do it. And like you mentioned कि आप ज़ाहिर ऐसे तो नहीं होता कि आपने सोच लिया I want to do this और वो हो जाएगा अगले दिन या एक साल में. You'll fail.
Absolutely.
But you have to learn every time, right? But overall, I think we had a pretty good conversation. I just have one last question from you.
Sure.
That what is your vision right now in terms of the bodybuilding scene in Pakistan? Where do you want to take it in the next 5 to 10 years?
Look, inshallah, I want to do not just one, but 2 shows a year in Pakistan.
Okay. Which ones?
Same thing, Olympia.
Achha, right.
I'm going to do pro shows. I want to get as many pro cards for our own guys as we possibly can. If you look at our neighbor country, India, I don't care what you say about India. They're doing an amazing, amazing job. Okay? In every sector, they're doing an amazing job. Bodybuilding, they are good 10 years ahead of us. Okay? Sheru Classic in India, I mean, Sheru is a freaking monster when it comes to this. I've learned a lot from him. He's gone from nobody to the man right now. So same thing I want to do for our country here is keep doing the shows and get that fear out of people's minds that, look, it's not going to happen. Ye ho jayega, ho jayega. Anybody that wants to compete, they're going to compete. I'm going to start sponsoring people when it comes to bodybuilding. I'll start sponsoring the right athletes. Anyone that I see potential in, I'll go ahead and do so. It's not always about money. It could be anything. It could be knowledge. It could be putting you in touch with the right coach, right product. everything, right? And then same with, like, there's so many things I want to do for Pakistan. Bodybuilding is just one. Fitness is just one. I want to provide my people with everything I possibly can. Free doctors, like I mentioned earlier. Free business coaching, I mentioned earlier. So, like, because I was given the title of Pakistan ka beta, I want to be Pakistan ka beta. I want to do good for my mother, which is Pakistan.
Right.
So,
and who gave you this title of Pakistan ka beta?
So this title was given to me by many people. Pakistan ka beta ye kar raha hai, Pakistan ka beta wo kar raha hai. Especially during my show, couple of the news channels are on there, like, Pakistan ka beta ye kar raha hai.
Acha.
I'm like, I'll take it. What bigger honor than that? So that's what I do.
Great.
Right.
Well, it was great having you, Arif Saab. And we'll keep in touch. And for all of you who have been watching till the end, thank you so much for watching. If you guys like the content and want to see similar videos around fitness, bodybuilding, physical improvement, as well as self-mental improvement, please subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, please click on the like button. उससे होता क्या है कि हमारा algorithm ऐसा बना YouTube का कि वो video को काफ़ी boost मिलता है. And for all of our international listeners, बार-बार आप नीचे देख रहे होंगे लिखा आ रहा होता है कि you can watch this podcast on Spotify as well. तो अब तक के लिए this will be it for this episode of the NSJD show. I will see you all in the next episode. तब तक के लिए this is NSJD signing out. Allah Hafiz.